Hello, seventh grade. I'm going to be going over the LP20 notes today. So this week you will be learning about one-step equations, which means equations that require one step to be able to figure out what the right answer is. So they're pretty simple, and I think that they can be kind of fun little logic puzzles. So the first page that you are looking at is giving you the directions to drag the correct words to write the equations in a sentence form. So we're translating math back into English, making sure we understand what these equations are telling us and we understand what these vocabulary words mean. So in the word bank, you have difference, which is the word we use to describe a subtraction problem. We have sum, which is what we use to describe an addition problem. The word is, which we use in place of an equals, right? Equals tells us what something is. You have product, which describes a multiplication problem, quotient, which describes a division problem, and the word more, which, we know what more means. It's a bigger amount. If you have more candy, you have a larger amount of candy, okay? So you want to read the equation and you want to turn that equation into a sentence. So the blank of b and 0.5, so if I look at that part on my equation, b and 0.5, this is a division problem here. So that means we're going to use the word quotient. The quotient of b and 0.5 equals 20. So we want to go down and grab the word that means equals. Boom, is. The quotient of b and 0.5 is 20. Okay, we're going to continue on the same process. So y plus 10 equals 16. We have an addition here. So the sum of y and 10 equals, so is 16. Okay. S minus 1.2 equals 3.5. So it's a subtraction. That means the difference of S and 1.2 equals, so is 3.5. Okay, so we just did page 1 together. Page 2 on this notes section is the same thing, but you are going to be responsible for choosing the correct vocabulary words for these blanks. Okay. Page 3 has us modeling the process to solve these. So it says use the model to solve the equation. So just looking at the picture here, we have x and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. So this is our x plus 5 right here. And then over here, we find out that it equals 8. And so they've got 8 little pieces. The directions say drag the x's to get rid of the same amount on both sides so that we can get the variable by itself. So I'm going to drag these over and we're going to get rid of 5 of these pieces. The goal here is to get x by itself. So we are going to drag and cancel out 1 on each side, right? If I get rid of 1 over here, I have to get rid of 1 over here to keep it fair and balanced. It's super important that you keep these sides exactly the same. So there's 2. Get rid of my third one. Get rid of the fourth one. And lastly, get rid of that fifth one, right? So now we have gotten rid of those. X is left by itself, and there are 1, 2, 3 of those pieces remaining. So I'm going to come down here into this blue box, and we're going to say that X equals 3. It's very easy to check to see if you got the right answer. You're going to plug that back into the problem. So 3 plus 5 equals, and if we add those all up, 3 plus 5 gives us 8. Excellent. That means we got the correct answer here. Okay, there is one more problem for you to do just like this. 10 equals x plus 3. So they flipped it on you, but your job is still the same. You want to get the x by itself by removing the same amount of pieces on both sides. Okay. The next page has you practice solving these, showing your work completely, fully working it out, seeing what's going on here. So if my equation is a plus 15 equals 20, I want to first figure out, well, if a is right here, what do I need to do? What do I need to move away? So this plus 15 is hanging out with it, so we are going to get rid of that positive 15. In order to cancel that out, you want to do the opposite, right? You're looking for a zero pair here. So positive 15 and negative 15 are going to give us that zero pair. And whatever I do on the left side, just like we did before, I have to take away the same amount on the right side. So we minus 15. You can see in the next step, they're starting to do that work. So 15 minus 15 gives us this 0 right here. 20 minus 15 is going to give us 5, right? And now that that's a 0, we can ignore it. Final answer, we find out that A equals 5. So your job on the rest of these two problems is to figure out what do I need to do to cancel that number and find out what is the value of that variable. Okay, you're going to fill in all of these blanks. Page 6 and 7 have you doing true false statements. So what you want to do is look at the problem. For example, E plus 6 equals 44. If I cancel my 6 on both sides, so we're going to check and see if they got it. 44 minus 6 does in fact give us 38, which means I'm going to drag this true to the box because that answer is true. Okay, solve the rest of these on page 6 and page 7. Determine if they are true or false by dragging the correct answer to the box. And that's it. Okay. Page 8 has us looking for the correct model and writing the correct value of x at the end. So 3 x's, 3 times x equals 9. So I'm looking for where it has the 3 of those long x bars, okay, and it equals 9. So if I look right here, boom, that is my correct model. 3 equals 9, excellent. Now you want to figure out, well, what is x going to be? So 3 times what equals 9? And that answer, 3 times 3, would give you 9. Okay, so it's just helping you start thinking about multiplying and dividing here and the relationships between those numbers. You want to complete the rest of those on page 8 and page 9. Lastly, page 10 has you solve the following multiplication and division equations by filling in the blanks. So this is the same as it was before, but this time these are multiplying and dividing problems. So if we have 4x equaling 32, that means we have x times 4. That's a multiplication. So you want to ask yourself, I have a multiplication. What will cancel that? What is the opposite of that? And the answer to that question is division. So we want to divide both sides by the number 4 because we want to get that out of there. So if we divide both sides by 4, 4 divided by 4 cancels out. 32 divided by 4 gives us a final answer of 8. So x equals 8. You'll notice that there are 2 division problems here in 2 modes. They work the same way. Okay, if you have a division, either in division form with the division symbol, or if you have a fraction, either way, you will need to use multiplication to cancel them out. So you would want to multiply both sides by that number to cancel it. Find out what variable you are left with. The very last page has you doing a little self-reflection. So you want to look at these 5 options and think about how comfortable you are with solving our one-step equations. So if you feel like a super rock star, this is the easiest thing you've ever done, you can't believe you have to practice this, put your little blue box over. I totally understand. If you got to the end of this and you are still super lost, it's not making sense, your numbers aren't working, you would put your box down at I do not understand at all. So this is a great way for you to communicate with me how you are feeling about this assignment, and it kind of lets me know how you're doing. All right. get this done, get your assignment for the week done. Remember, if you need help, join me in office hours Monday and Wednesday from 1 to 3. Have a great afternoon, everybody.